And then between consumers, between the industry, especially civil society. So civil society can knit the two together, which I understand is happening here today. So I really commend this effort. But doing that will result in achievable outcomes and will create a knowledge platform for the government also to latch on to. Well, governments usually, in all of South Asia are used to getting, especially for climate policy, it's a technically frontier subject for them, for technologies and everything. So they ask consultants. And international consultants have a way of imposing their own agenda or without moral prejudice, their own agenda on where you should go, how fast you should go, and which groups, and invariably in that transformation, because climate change is always about confronting choices. So the choices that are posed in cut and paste solutions from other countries, you can always learn from them, but grow your own, because the choices you make must suit your people and must not exclude others. So if you're going to exclude one group or punish one group or penalize one group, it will not work. That is the most important message, I think. Importers as well as local manufacturers, their concerns have to be married in a transition. For instance, you may need a first tranche of changes where the import taxes, levies, tariffs are reduced for the battery systems, for all of those. And once those are reduced, then you have to come into a cascade of policies that strengthens does not sort of clean out or cannibalize your local industry, because that's got to stand up. That's got to stand up to make the change. And that's got to stand up and make itself affordable. If these vehicles, the motorbikes, two-wheelers, three-wheelers are not affordable, this big change won't come. So creating the ecosystem is very important, creating the incentives are very important, and also making the product affordable, friendly for use, meaning it should be safe, easy, and productive as the combustion engine for them. Don't say कि भाई मैंने इतना खर्चा करके नया लिया है, बैटरी ये सारा लफड़ा मैं डाल रहा हूँ, ये क्यों करूँ? लोग पूछते हैं हम ये क्यों करें? तो उनको हमें समझाना होगा कि ये हर तरह से आपके लिए बेटर होगा, इसके लिए बेहतरी आपके लिए, हम उनको लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स ना दें, सिर्फ वो ज़रूरी है कि जी आपकी सेहत मुज़र नहीं होगी अब और आप सांस ले सकेंगे खुली फ़ज़ा में, लाहौर में बच्चे स्कूल जा सकेंगे विंटर में, 5वां सीज़न नहीं होगा कॉल्ड स्मॉग, राइट? ये सारी चीज़ें हमें ज़रूर बावर करनी चाहिए और बार बार, क्योंकि इन्हीं से क्लाइमेट एक्टर्स, मॉरली ड्रिवन, एथिकली ड्रिवन, वैल्यूज़ बेस्ड क्लाइमेट एक्टर्स उभरते हैं. जैसे ये आपने ग्रुप देखा है, क्लाइमेट एक्शन सेंटर जो है, तो इस तरह से जब ग्रुप्स उभरते हैं फिर वो दूसरों को एंगेज करते हैं. दूसरे, आप कभी ना अस्यूम करिए कि सारी मार्केट आपके लिए अखलाकियात पर जमा हो जाएगी. नो, आई कीप सेइंग दिस, क्रिएट a transition economy, create a transition cascade that allows imports first to come in, but also prioritizes your local manufacturing, because the big scale transformation, the scaling up of change will happen in the local industry. वो करेंगे 2 2-wheelers 3-wheelers, तो फिर आपकी full on scale होगी. और हर मुल्क का यही तजुर्बा रहा है. Until they're manufacturing themselves, you don't get that kind of transformational change you're seeking. The numbers you're seeking are very ambitious. वो आप जितना भी चार्जिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, बैटरीज और इसका सिस्टम बनाएंगे, आपने ये भी देखना होगा कि हम कब तक ये कर सकते हैं. दिस इज़ वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट. वो जो टाइमलाइंस हैं वो बहुत सारे सालों की हैं और हमें इस वक्त तो बहुत तेज़ लगती हैं. बट हियर्स व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन इंटरनेशनली इन द वर्ल्ड एंड इट्स इम्पैक्टिंग यू. Carbon emissions, what happens at these COPs? COP29, I'm sorry, carbon emissions are going up. Fossil fuel use is going up. After 29 Conference of Parties, it is still going up. Don't imagine it's all working because it's so much money and theatre is spent on it. It is the only place that countries like Pakistan need to use to raise their voice and articulate concerns, because multilateral tables are the only ones left where at least the right things are said. And yet, after 29 COPs, fossil fuel use is going right up, trajectory nowhere close to the Paris goals that were spoken about, 2015, which was the peak of multilateralism, climate multilateralism. वहाँ उन्होंने कहा 1.5 above industrial levels रखेंगे. 1.5 is not alive at all. It stopped being alive when these fossil fuels went up. Then what that means is that the warming is also going up. Every summer we are told this is the hottest summer that in recorded history. Now, and so that's one thing we are grappling with. And then the financing is going down. 300 billion was mentioned. I'm sorry. The mitigation and decarbonization's future is not in small money. It is not in 300 billion a year even, which is not materialized. There is no pathway. Who's going to finance this? Will it be the private sector? Suddenly we'll be told, oh, unlock private finance. I'm sorry, private finance does not rush to the front lines of disaster. If you've got a climate disaster, you can't be asking investors to come in. Your industry is the one that can do that. You are not dealing with disaster, or even risk management. You are lowering risk, climate risk, and moving towards a more sustainable future by, and you're doing it as an industry, all sides of it. You can actually do all those things by seeking a transition that is actually quite fast. You have companies like BYD coming in. It's the frontline company in manufacturing of EV vehicles, and you have Mega Motors and others. So with these and others coming in, first of all, it's great to have this level of investment from abroad, but also it can be married and it can be transitioned to transfer of that technology. Those are the most robust agreements that will see you into a truly sustainable future. These are otherwise going to sustainable mobility. All of these things are going to remain smart slogans if we don't actually create a realistic policy. And I say accelerated because, it's much worse than we think. We should not, our cities should not be reaching those AQI levels that, look at the air quality levels, they are unbelievable. They're off the charts. And this has not happened over 5 years or 2 years. It has happened because of climate denialism, which is why groups like this must meet more and more often in higher densities and create the kind of momentum for knowledge gathering, for it to match policy action, and for that policy action to create a meaningful impact in public health and reduction of pollution. Policy is only meaningful if it benefits public lives. And that must also be made clear. The link between policy and public benefit has to be made more clear. Will we breathe better? Yes, because it is entirely in our control. You can't say, okay, the United States is doing this. They're doing their own. They're certainly helping with fossil fuel projections. They're going up. But pollution is in your control, whether it's in the water, whether it's in the air. I know we're only speaking about air, but I'm very concerned that pollution all round needs to be tackled. And one of the things I want you all to think about is as we go into the future, there are many things we have to reconsider as valuable from our very cottage industry type past, where all of South Asia had a vibrant local economy, a fairly green and circular economy. So circularity was part of our thinking, of our daily lives. We drank water, we boiled it, filtered it, put it in glass bottles, reused those glass bottles, right? So all of climate stress is finally and very clearly, where are the batteries being assembled, where are the charging stations, do they have an impact? When you have a charging station, how green is it selling plastic, single use plastics? So you must do things holistically. Some countries are doing it and it's entirely achievable. South Asia, Pakistan, countries like Pakistan were leaders in self-driven sustainability, cottage industry wisdom. You have to return to that, and I think that is one of the ways that you'll find you're seeing a smoke emitting vehicle in front of you. I mean, I often stop to ask कि भैया ट्यूनिंग नहीं करवाई है अपने इंजन की, कंबस्टन इंजन चलेगा, बहुत साल चलेगा, एकदम तो कुछ नहीं जाएगा. उनसे पूछें कि आप ट्यूनिंग क्यों नहीं करा रहे. जब उनसे कहते हैं फिट फॉर पर्पस है व्हीकल, तो पता चलेगा हैज़ टू बी मोर रोबस्ट. So while we do all that, we all have to be citizens with a conscience. हम ये नहीं सोचें कि ये किसी और का प्रॉब्लम है. 8 billion people think that this is someone else's problem. I can't do anything, that you'll have nothing happening. Okay? 8 billion people is the planet. If you, with the 5th largest population in the world, and high population will lead to high motor vehicle use. मतलब जो figures हैं motor vehicle use के, in 10 years are going to double on the streets. That's the projection. As they double, आप सांस नहीं ले सकेंगे. आपको transportation भी चाहिए. Public transportation सिंध गवर्नमेंट ने first electric vehicle बस, electrically powered बस आई है, और फिर 500 का fleet आने वाला है मेरी इत्तला में. तो इस तरह के हमें बहुत सारे जो हैं innovations और initiatives लेने पड़ेंगे, इनको सराहना पड़ेगा, और इनकी एक सपोर्टिव इकोसिस्टम बनानी पड़ेगी. आप सबका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. थैंक यू once again. I'm sure I've run over my time. That public conversation